You just had a rough day. Maybe your boss dropped something on you last minute, or maybe the grocery bill hit harder than what you expected. Maybe the news is just a lot right now. So you open your phone, and before you even realize it, you've bought something you didn't need, but it felt good for about 10 minutes.
Here is the thing, you're not bad with money. Your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. And that is actually the problem.
Right now, 71% of Canadians expect the cost of living to get worse in 2026. And instead of saving more, almost a third of us are doing the exact opposite. We're spending to cope with the stress of not having enough. It is called doom spending. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why your brain does it and how quietly damages your family and free shifts that can break the cycle for good. Stick with me because the third one is the one nobody talks about. But first, what exactly is doom spending? It is when you spend money to feel better about things you cannot control, like the economy, the inflation, that feeling like no matter what you do, things are getting more expensive and you keep falling behind.
And it is not just a TikTok trend. The data is real. According to a 2023 Intuit Credit Karma study, 27% of Americans spend money specifically to cope with stress. For millennials and Gen Z, that number climbs to almost 40%. But here is what most people miss. Doom spending is not a millennial problem. If you are 35 to 45 with a kid, a mortgage, and bills that never stop growing, you're doing it too. You just call it something else. You call it treating yourself, you call it convenience, you call it I deserve this after the week I just had.
Honestly, I get it, because the cycle looks like something like this. You feel anxious about money, so you spend to feel better. That gives you a small hint of relief. But then the guilt kicks in, which makes you more anxious and want to spend more again, and around it goes. So why does your brain keep doing this? When you are under chronic financial stress, your brain does something very specific. Your prefrontal cortex, that part that handles planning and long-term thinking, it basically goes offline. In your limbic system, the emotional survival brain takes over.
This is not a character flaw. This is neuroscience. Your brain is wired to choose right now over later. Scientists call it present bias. And here is the wildest part. Brain imaging studies show that when people think about their future selves, the brain activates the same region it uses when thinking about a complete stranger.
When your brain has to choose between a $30 takeout order that feels good right now and a $30 in a saving account for some strangers called future you, it is not even a contest.
And when you layer real economic stress on top of that, like 52% of Canadians will feel paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong financial choice, the brain's response gets even louder. Spend now, feel something, deal with the rest later.
But here is what I really want you to hear. It is not your fault. You're not lazy. You're not irresponsible. Your brain is running a survival program that was designed for a world where one-click ordering did not exist. And I know this because I have been there myself. A few months ago, we had one of those weeks. You know the kind. Work was relentless. Our little one needed more than we had to give. And by Friday night, the mental load had completely flattened us. I opened my phone, and before I knew it, I had ordered a Montessori activity set for a 2-year-old. A sensory play kit, things that looked responsible, things that made me feel like, okay, I cannot be fully present right now, but at least I'm investing in his development. Then came the home decor, a throw pillow, a basket that had nothing to do with anything else in the house because it felt like progress. Over a few weeks, it added up, somewhere between $200 and $300. The wake-up call came on a Saturday morning. I was sitting with my credit card statements, looking at a list of purchases I barely remembered making. And I realized something. Not one of those items had been on my list. Not one of them had come from a conversation with my partner, and every single one had to come from a Friday night and I was too depleted to feel like a good parent or present partner. So I bought things to feel like one instead. That is doom spending, not the obvious one, the quiet, disguised kind, the kind that wears the costume of responsibility. And I'm sharing this because if you had done the same thing, you're not weak. You were tired and your brain was doing the only thing that it knew how to do. But here is what makes this really serious. Doom spending does not just affect your bank account, it changes the way your family operates. And almost nobody's talking about this. When one partner is stress spending and the one is stress saving, it creates a silent tension in the home. Not the yelling kind, the kind where you stop talking about money altogether. Where purchases get hidden, where guilt builds up until someone snaps.
According to FP Canada, 17% of Canadian families report relationship conflict directly tied to money stress, and 43% of Canadians procrastinate on financial decisions because the stress is simply too much to face.
In my experience working with families, this is one of the most consistent patterns I have ever seen. The stress does not stay in your wallet, it moves into conversations, into your sleep, into the way you show up for your kids. And here is the part that really stays with me. A lot of parents start doom spending on their kids, buying things to ease the guilt of not being fully present, but the kids do not need the stuff, they need the calm.
The cycle goes like this. Financial stress leads to emotional shutdown. Emotional shutdown leads to silence between partners. Silence leads to isolated spending. Isolated spending leads back to more financial stress. And the family keeps spinning in a loop that nobody knows how to name.
Until now, because naming it is already the first step out. So, here are the free shifts I promised you at the start. I'm not going to give you a budget spreadsheet. You have seen 100 of those. What I want to share are free shifts that work with your brains instead of against it. Shift 1, the 5-second check-in. Before you buy anything that is not already on the list, pause it 5 seconds and ask yourself one question. What am I feeling right now? Not what do I need, what I am feeling. Tired? Anxious? Bored? Frustrated? You can name the emotion. If you can name the emotion, you have already interrupted the loop, because the purchase was never really about the item, it was about a feeling.
Many families find that just this one habit reduces impulse spending by more than they expected. Not because it takes willpower, because it gives your prefrontal cortex 5 seconds to come back online.
Shift number 2, the 72-hour buffer. For any non-essential purchase over $20, wait 3 days. If you still want it after 72 hours, go ahead. Here is why it works. That dopamine spikes your brain gives you when you spot something you want, it fades within 24 to 48 hours. By 74 hours, your rational brain is back in the driver's seats. Most of the time, you will not even remember why you want it. Shift 3, the monthly money conversation. This one is the most important. It is the one nobody talks about. Many families find that scheduling one calm 15-minute conversation about money each month completely changes the dynamic. And I want to be really clear. This is not a budget meeting. You're not reviewing receipts. You're not pointing fingers. You are just asking 2 questions. How are you feeling about our money right now? And is there anything you have been worried about that we have not said out loud yet? That's it. When financial stress has a voice in your home, it loses most of its power. When it stays silent, it runs the show.
I have seen this one shift change everything for families. Not because it fixes the budget overnight, but because it turns money from something you fight about into something you face together.
So let's bring this full circle. At the start of this video, I told you that I will share 3 shifts that can break the doom spending cycle for good. Name the feeling before you buy, give it 72 hours, and talk about it openly with the person beside you. None of these take willpower, they just take awareness. And now you have it. Because doom spending is not a character flaw, it is a human response to a world that keeps getting harder. But you're not powerless. Once you understand why your brain does this, you can start working with it and stand up against it. The goal was never to be perfect with money. The goal is to stop letting money stress steal your peace and your time with the people you matter most. Keep living frugal, stay free.